I'm back with another video, and today I am going to do kind of a get ready with me with everything that I have drugstore. It would be good for a beginner's kit, but it's also just really good drugstore makeup that I use time and time again. And as I do my makeup, I'm also going to talk about my experience getting furloughed. It's not really an experience, but I thought I would talk about it. I don't know, during this time where a lot of things are uncertain and who knows whoever's watching, and this is a good pep talk for myself. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So let's get started. So first thing that I do is I prime my face, and these are the two drugstore primers I'm using, the Hydration by NYX and the e.l.f. Poreless Primer. I'm not gonna talk about the products that I've already talked about a lot. So, oopsies, I'm using the wrong thing first. If you see something that you've already seen in other videos, sorry. So today I'm going to talk about what happened. So I work for a healthcare consulting / solutions company, and basically we sell products and our clients are hospitals and clinics. Obviously what happened with COVID is there's just a huge influx of patients at the hospital, and because we're like a tech solutions company, you know, we're not going to be their priority right now. And especially me, I've only been with this company for a year and a half. Like, this is my first job out of college. I'm not the most essential employee. I'm not, you know, it's not because I'm a bad employee per se, but I'm not the most essential. I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna do my foundation first. Let me just show you what I'm using. The L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour fresh wear. Really, really good. At first it was kind of finicky to use, but I've gotten a lot better at using it. And I know not to use too much. I just use maybe 5/6 of a pump. And so basically a lot of the projects that I was on for hospitals, they got postponed because, you know, right now everyone's attention in the hospital should be how to handle these patients, what to do with all these people coming in, and you know, it's just a huge burden on their hospital system, meaning a lot of my projects were postponed. So I had this feeling because we started going on lockdown, and once the situation just got increasingly worse, a lot of the work that I was doing, like a lot of my meetings were getting canceled, and I just felt a huge lull in work. And then like a week before I got notified, we had like a company-wide meeting mentioning that at this time, because of the current situation, that there's a possibility that people will be getting furloughed. And to be honest, I didn't think I'd make it on that like hit list. A lot of people were reassuring me like, oh no, I think you'll be okay, like there's still things that we need to be doing. So I was like, okay, yeah, I think I'll be okay. Like, I don't feel any ill will or anything towards my company, because I know that these decisions, they just had to be made, you know, and someone has to get cut, and I'm okay with that. So during the company-wide meeting, they said, we're gonna let you know on Wednesday if you're going to be furloughed or not. And so I was like, oh man. And I remember, maybe it was like a Monday or something, and I was just like, no, it was a Tuesday, you know? And then I got a meeting on my calendar with my manager saying merit award discussion, because I had done pretty well on my like last year's end of review or whatever. So then that Tuesday I had a discussion with my manager, and he was like, oh, congratulations, like you've been promoted, and like great stuff, you know, great stuff. And I called my parents and I was so happy. I was really exciting because again, this is my first job, first promotion. All these things are firsts for me. So then I was feeling good, and I was feeling like, oh, okay, maybe I won't get furloughed. And basically, let me just tell you right now what it means to be furloughed. So being furloughed means you are still with the company and you still get your benefits, but you're not allowed to work, and you don't get compensated because you're not allowed to work, you know? So it's a little bit different than being laid off, but you know, the implications are the same. I'm not getting paid and I'm not working. So I was feeling like pretty okay about it on Tuesday, like the day that I got my raise and whatever, because I was like, oh, you know, why would they give me this if they're gonna furlough me? That doesn't make sense. So I went to sleep happy and fine. Oh, by the way, that I used the Hem, oh my goodness, I used the wrong color. The Hem concealer. This is, I know it's not American and you can't get it there, but it's the only budget-friendly concealer that I have. So come Wednesday, I'm like, okay, like let's just get to work, do things, you know. Granted, still a lot of my meetings are canceled and I don't still have that much work to do, but I was like, okay, at least I'm in the clear and I can just wait it out, and then once, you know, this situation lightens up, who knows when that's gonna be, I'll get back to working like usual. And so I'm just working, and then my manager puts a meeting on my calendar that says project updates, and I immediately knew I'm getting cut. See, this is what happens when I talk. I can't like focus. Remote, stay remote, matte. Very mattifying, very good. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. So I got that meeting and I just immediately knew it was coming, but I didn't want to psych myself out. So I called my team lead, I called my other coworkers, and then I found out that some of my other coworkers had already been notified that they are furloughed.
I didn't want to psych myself out.
So I was like, oh Lord, it's coming. And so then I pinged my manager and I was like, hey,
I didn't want to psych myself out.
can you give me a hint at least, like what this is about? And he was like, oh, there's some updates I need to tell you about. And I was like, Lord, you know, I just had a feeling, you know. So then I started getting really anxious, and he put my meeting to 4 to 4:30, which means it's at the very end of the day. And I was like, I cannot sit here and be idle like this for the whole day. So I just was like, can I move it? Do you have any other time in your calendar? And then so he moved it up to a little bit earlier, and then we were on the phone, or we were like video chatting. He was like, hey Yuna, it's ironic and I can't believe like I'm doing this to you. Not that he's doing it to me, you know, he's just the bearer of bad news. And he was like, unfortunately, like you've been impacted by the furlough process. And I was like, I had a feeling. Yeah, and then he just went into the like, logistics of it and things like that. And I could tell like, it's a hard discussion to have, you know. It sucks to be a manager at this time and tell some of your team members, especially if you gave them a raise the day before, and tell them, actually, you can't get none of that because you can't work. You know, so I understood, and I was like, oh, you know what, I understand. And he was saying like, I took it very well, and I was like, well, I ain't gonna like cry in front of you, and like, I don't know, like I just don't know how these things work. So I told him, I was like, oh, it's fine and thank you. And he's like, don't thank me. And I was like, okay, bye. Like I don't know what to do. So I just took it, whatever, and then started hitting me. Then I started the waters coming out of my eyes, and then I start calling my parents, and you know, they told me not to worry, and I'm not worried. It's just the fact that I felt like, oh my God, I cannot believe this happened to me. You know, it's been happening all across the world, and I still think I'm working through like trying to see outside of myself in all of this. Let me go to blush. I love this blush. It's very orangey though. Peach Primrose by Flower Cosmetics or Flower Beauty. I called my parents and they're like, it's fine. It's totally okay. And I think I just felt bad because they were worried that I'd be worried, and I'm like, I'm not worried, I'm fine, you know. And they're like, no, we're fine, so don't be, you know, don't think about us. I just didn't want to feel like I was letting them down, and they reassured me, as they always do. Like they've never made me feel that way. I just put that upon myself, you know. And I think that's a lot of Asian American immigrant children. So yesterday was my first day off of work. I was having a pretty bad day, and I was realizing these things like, man, the reason I feel so bad is mainly because I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that I got furloughed. I don't mind being embarrassed, but I'm embarrassed that I'm embarrassed. My second ratchet, I'm sorry I'm talking, it's all over the place, but I'm trying to like talk speedily as I do my makeup. And sorry, my baby hairs are out of control. But this is the Maybelline Master Chrome. It's so ratchet, I had to put tape on it because it broke. It's a highlighter, it's metallic highlighter, and it's in their molten rose gold. It's really strong. I really like this highlighter. I've had it for a while. Like I was saying, I have always struggled with this pride complex, and most of my friends already know that, but I think it takes different shapes, and I thought I've tackled this beast many a times. I had to revisit that because I realized I'm very embarrassed. So why am I embarrassed? I went to a very prestigious like university. You know, I graduated from a wonderful school, and it's, you know, well known for being all these smart people doing awesome things, and they're all smart. All my friends, amazingly smart. They just, honestly, I don't know anyone that's not like top-notch dollar at Duke. And I have always felt I am not top-notch dollar, I am bottom-notch dollar. Performance-wise, I literally barely graduated. And you know what? My brother also goes to the same school that I went to. He's a junior, and he and I both know we are miracles from God. This is why you should believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, because my brother and I both went there. And people are like, man, no, that means you're downplaying. I'm not actually. I think, like, of course there's a reason. I tried really hard in high school, and in high school I looked like an awesome student. But like once I got to college, That's when everything hit me. And I'm gonna spray myself. I don't have Drugstore setting spray right now, but if I did, it would be the Morphe setting spray. I just don't have it, so I'm gonna use, I won't write this down. But we've just always had this complex, like, oh, everyone else here is incredibly smart. They deserve to be here. We deserve to be here, but for different reasons. So I've always kind of carried that with me, but still in the end, I'm like, but I still went to a good school. Like, so I should get a good job. And I went through this. I'm gonna do my brows. I should not talk when I do my brows. I'm gonna be back. Okay, and I'm back with my brows. I don't own any drugstore, but I'm gonna count ColourPop as drugstore, and this is the I Love Sarahi x ColourPop collaboration. She's a YouTuber that I follow, and she is flawless. It's her Through My Eyes palette, and I'm just gonna do, I'm gonna use this, and then I'm gonna also use my original Morphe x Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm gonna create kind of a brown look. So continuing on from my story. Out of college, I thought I had just overcome my complex, and I kind of felt like that through my job process too, because everyone was getting a job, and it took me a really long time, and it wasn't until January of 2019 I started working. So then I think it really resurfaced after I got furloughed, because I was like, wow. The first few thoughts I had in my head was like, I bet nobody else from my class has gotten laid off or furloughed. Like, everyone is so much better than I am. And so I felt really embarrassed that I got furloughed. And that itself is an embarrassing thought, because that just shows how I'm so concerned about what other people think of me. And it's not necessarily out of bad intention. Well, it is, because it's not good. It's not out of an evil heart. It's just something that I had carried with me. So when this whole situation happened, I didn't have a problem telling my really close friends. But then when I thought about like having to tell like people from school, other people that graduated, I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna think I'm so dumb and this would happen to me. But honestly, people don't, first of all, they don't think about you that much. And second of all, they're my friend. So why would they think like that of me? You know, so it's just all these things that kind of built up in my head. And the reason I'm even talking about it now is almost to prove a point to myself that it's not, like, it's, first of all, it's definitely not the end of the world. I'm gonna live, I'm gonna be fine. And well, another thing is, because I got furloughed, I felt like I lost the ability to do a lot of things that I was able to do when I was making money. I have to be wiser with my spending habits because I don't got no income. And it's like things like that where I was like, wow, I feel kind of handicapped. I was talking to Andy on the phone, and he was like, you're putting unnecessary stress on you. And I was like,
unnecessary stress? You're telling me I'm putting on unnecessary stress?
But then he was right, you know? I hate to say it, but he's right many of the times. And I think I just had to have somebody talk through it with me. All these things that I was trying to do to cope with the fact that, like, I'm just embarrassed and I just want to throw a pity party for myself, and I did. But now I gotta move on. I don't know, you know, what's gonna happen next. I don't know if they're gonna call me back. I don't know when. I hope they do. But then at the same time, how do I want to use this time, you know, that I have? So I've been thinking about ways that I can spend this time productively, and that is, one thing is to be more consistent in posting on YouTube, because this is my hobby. There is no moral to this story. I'm just sharing it with you guys. That's the thing, is I don't want to downplay my experience, but I also don't want to downplay other people. And I know at the end of the day, I don't have it the worst. If anything, I have it fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. There are people in much dire circumstances. It doesn't make sense to me for me to just sit here and wallow, but I do, because again, I am still a baby. I just want to, for myself, recognize that it's okay. Like, I am really proud of my school and all these things, but at the end of the day, it is not about that at all. And I am so thankful that I have such good community members and such good friends that not only check up on me, but like just push me beyond that and past that. Also, having so many people encourage me through that really reminded me, gosh dang, people are so good. People are just so good to me, you know, and I'm so thankful for that. And you know what? It's gonna get worse, and it's gonna be harder to find a job, like just in general, and even for people that are gonna graduate college. We can't let that be like the judge of our ability. Oh, looks pretty good. I just want to be better at being transparent to myself and to my friends. Yes, I clearly struggle with trying to be X, Y, and Z all the time, but I'm not, and it's okay. One thing I learned after college for sure is everyone has very different timelines of when they do things. That's not a problem, because I was so stuck in the 4 years of university, done, get a job, and then, okay, 2 years into your job, you go to grad school, then you get your master's or whatever, you know, something very much like I need to stop thinking and expecting that for myself, and then also expecting that for other people. I don't know what it's gonna look like. Being furloughed is no fun. I always have to find things to do, and it's very hard to do that. Even though it's only been 2 days, I'm already struggling. We cannot fear. This will not last forever, and just gotta keep going, and I'm gonna find ways to be productive. Hopefully this will make me a better professional and, most importantly, human being. I'll put my eyeliner and mascara on, and then I'm gonna do my lipstick and closing thoughts. Okay, this is my eyeliner. Hiramake Kissimi. I would consider this drugstore because it's drugstore priced. My mascara is also, I would consider it drugstore because yeah. Okay, to conclude my look, I'm going to use my favorite lip gloss from the drugstore. It's the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Madeleine. It is my favorite. I love the color. I think it's perfect. I'm just using this lip gloss today. This is the final look. I don't know how to, yeah. Full face of drugstore, basically, kind of. I'm not putting this video because I have words of advice. It's more just for my sake, to share my experience and to stop being embarrassed that my life doesn't look like what I expect it to look like coming from a place that expects greatness. And you know what? I have great character. Great personality. Those are the things that I should be working on anyways. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and thank you for listening to my story. Sorry if it was long. Hope this wasn't too much of like a word vomit. I know they weren't really in, my thoughts weren't in place. Although I knew I was going to film this. I should have written down some sort of outline or something, but I didn't. See, now, I could never really make a video of how I could make a video of how I got into Duke, but it would be very unconventional because I just told you, it ain't because of what's in here, but what's in here. Okay, anyways, bye. Hope you guys have a great Easter. If you celebrate Easter, hallelujah, Jesus has risen from the grave. Bye. Oh man. I'm so sweaty, can you see? Darn, this Ariana Grande hair, do not do the same if you're not Ariana Grande.